guys, it's Amy Kelley with Exposure Uncut. Today you have a special treat. It is Zeke Kelley, my husband.
Hey guys.
So this is probably the most awkward one I've ever done, and it should be the easiest, but it's because I know you too well.
You're just awkward.
Yeah, I am awkward, but I think it's because I know you too well. Like, I didn't know what to ask you because I don't need to pry into your life. I already know your life.
Well, that's also, I kind of make you nervous too because I'm so pretty.
Yeah.
So it's all right. It's all right. Hey, I'm just a normal person, you know? So
You're so
we can, I didn't get my close up for makeup either, so I apologize if I don't look great. But
shiny, a little shiny.
I don't know, maybe I'm shiny.
So let's talk about first, like, how we met. Let's talk about the day we met.
I actually just left the place that we met at. We met at a gym that used to be a different gym, but it was here in Athens. I don't want to say any names or anything like that. I don't want to promote anybody.
Only our own businesses we promote.
No, we met at Riviera. I was coming in for an interview to be pretty much the head over all the trainers and take up the training program and all that good stuff. And then I needed somebody to let me in. I saw some really pretty girl sprinting towards the door, pushing people down to get to the door to let me in. Turns out to be Amy, and she just let me in. And she's like, I normally don't do this. But
I normally wouldn't. I would, when I was there training people, I felt I wasn't like an employee. I was a contractor, so I don't have to answer doors.
Yeah, you're a trainer. You're supposed to train.
I have to answer the doors
open
if I don't want to.
No,
I wasn't doing any of that. And so I ignored people, and I saw you walking across the parking lot, to be honest, and I was like, this hottie does not work out here. I have never seen him before.
Saw a bright light. I'm like, who is it? A man stepped out of the bright light.
Then sure enough, you couldn't get in. So, you know, what's a girl to do?
As soon as I got there, I was in though, right? So you didn't let me even touch the door. You
yeah, I did. I opened it. I unlocked it. You had a key.
I did not have a key, but you were. As soon as I went to grab the door, you opened it.
I had it unlocked.
I felt welcome. Very welcome.
Good.
Yeah. And we sat there and talked for, 2-3 hours?
Not 2 hours.
I was late for my interview and he still hired me. But
he told me during that conversation that he was going to marry me one day. The moment he met me, he was like, I'm going to marry you one day.
Jokes
and
on
you. I laughed at him.
She did. She told me she was never going to be married. I just got through a divorce as well. Mine wasn't near as special as yours, right? So I was just trying to get married I took a contract and, try to get a little extra money out of it. Yeah. So I didn't, like, my divorce wasn't anything special. It was like, oh yeah, I figured, So I was still open to the idea of marrying people. And
I was like, never again.
You gotta have a 10-year crazy relationship, man.
Yeah.
It was
I wanted to be single forever.
Yeah.
But then I met you. We talked, we had a good flow of conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And the funny thing is like he friends me on social media after that. And I messaged him. No, you sent me the friend request, and then I messaged you first. And I said, are you going to take that job at the gym? And he says, I would if it means I get to see you every day.
And
I ghosted him for 2 months.
2 months. But lo and behold, 2 months later, I'm sitting there and I get a message. I'm like, who is this? I look at it and it's Amy. Hey, you still want to get that coffee? I'm like, no. So I ghosted her for 2 months.
No, he didn't. Lies. He did not.
No,
we literally dated like 2 days later.
Yeah, I went and picked her up and took her to New Orleans after that.
Yeah. Our first day was in New Orleans. Yeah.
I was picking up a good buddy of mine. He's a tattoo artist. He's doing a tattoo convention down there. Matt Goska. He's at the Blue Rose. Shameless plug if you want to get a couple tattoos. Holler our brother Matthew. Yeah, we went down there and picked him up, and like I said, he's my brother, and he's a tattoo artist, so he's a very outgoing, charismatic guy. So she got to meet the real me pretty quick, Like my buddy
honestly, also like the drive down to New Orleans is 5.5 hours.
Yeah, it took us like 4 hours.
You're gonna find out a lot about somebody.
Yeah, we played 21 questions about 4 or 5 times.
And I think that I put my foot in my mouth a lot.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
I was definitely like, I'm out of her league. I'm way down there.
You weren't. Oh, you're ridiculous.
We got to know each other really well. I remember our first kiss. We finally get to New Orleans, and we're at the gas station and you were ready to kiss me. You're like, I'm going to kiss this guy. You go in for a kiss. I'm like, I'm not going to have our first kiss at the gas pump. You know, let's wait a minute. So I waited until
Such
we
a
got
romantic.
I don't kiss on the first date. After 6 hours, it's probably not even considered the first date anymore. Probably.
No.
I don't kiss after the first date unless it's longer than 6
most
hours.
people do.
Yeah, fair. So I waited till we get to a little more somewhere special, and then I gave you a kiss. It was a beautiful, beautiful thing.
And I love New Orleans.
Yeah, I remember the first time, our first meal, I was like, hey, I'm going to pray over our food. If you don't like that, you can go hang out somewhere else or, go to the car or whatever, but I'm going to pray over this food real quick. If you want to be a part of it, please do. And you were like, oh my gosh. I love that.
It was sweet that you took initiative and prayed. But now that I know you, that's just who you are.
Yeah. I wasn't trying to be.
You weren't being showy.
Yeah, I wasn't trying to be showy.
No, this is who you are. I love your prayers too, though. They're so fun.
They're so fun?
Yeah. You always make people laugh in your prayers, which I love. Like, everybody gets a chuckle out of it. But
it's fun. You're talking to somebody you love. You're talking to your best friend. You're talking to your creator. It's not Jesus says in the Bible, pray like this, our Father, but also you can just talk to your Father, This is fun. I want to make it, a lot of people kind of feels like they're afraid, and you fear the Lord, but it's not like in the sense of like I'm afraid to look or touch or talk to God and wrong. Like, man, He knows your heart. So when you're praying, man, it's just He made me this way. He made me a goofy guy. Like that's who He made me to be. Yeah. He made me to pray that way. He made I take it seriously, but man, there's laughter's the best medicine.
I think that some people probably look at you and think that you're big, muscly, and scary.
I hope.
Some people do. Some people do. I feel like there's been people that are like, but man, he's like the biggest teddy bear. He's so sweet.
Yeah.
Just the kindest person. You really are.
I love fighting and I love violence and all that stuff. Like we own a Jiu Jitsu gym and stuff like that. I love all that stuff. But man, I don't want to be mean or hateful or I want to change somebody's world, or their day or their outlook on, I just want to bring positivity. Because I was raised with a lot of negativity. That's all I was ever around was negativity, So now it's just, man, I found the light. I want to shine, I just want to shine on everybody. I want to reflect on you. I want to reflect on you.
You do that for me too, though. You've always been very uplifting for me, and I think that's one of the big things that I love about you and what you bring to my life is like I, came from a place that was just really negative, had always kind of like a negative outlook on things, and you, even in negative moments, never have a negative outlook. You always have a positive outlook, and you find the silver lining. You always find joy in some way, which is beautiful. And you've taught me a lot about how to do that myself, and even so, you've improved me as a person because of that.
So sweet. You hit on me. You're somebody that I need to be better for. You're perfect. You're awesome. We have an amazing family, and I need to be a better man every day for you guys. So you guys make me be that person. I love it. We check each other and we make each other up. We bring each other up, and then we try to spread that to the world.
We do. I love you. Oh, sweetie.
You're so sweet. So
let's talk about owning small businesses and how that so here we are acting just so sweet and kind, but let's talk about the struggles. Let's talk about the struggles of being an entrepreneur and having multiple businesses and how that looks in our life, and even how it's looked throughout our life, in the beginning of our relationship together, a decade ago.
In the beginning.
10 years back ago. In the olden days.
Yeah.
How much more I struggled with no boundaries in business, and how that looked compared to what it looks like now and how we grow.
Yeah, it's you were the people pleaser. You never
I still am.
Yeah, you would never say no. You would spread yourself thin, you would let other people down. And typically, since you're an entrepreneur and you're a good business person, that was hurting the family more. So you would say yes to all your clients and try to please them, which you never really could, because the certain type of people that were asking you to do above and beyond always wanted to pay you below.
Yeah, they always the people that want the most always want to pay the least.
Yeah.
And I found that out through boundaries, though. I had to know my worth and start like saying no to people, providing time for myself and the family, and then having designated time for like work and but kind of increasing things. I panicked at first because I'm like, oh man, people aren't going to like this. But the thing is I find that most people actually love it more and they respect me more. And I could be charging a certain amount now and telling people no, but the people that get the yes and the people that want to be a part of that with me are so appreciative of it and like even tip me on top of that. They're so I don't know, they're so kind about my time and me as a person, and they treat me like a person and not a machine because I'm not a machine. Yeah. Whereas I felt like before I was very much a machine and people expected me to process like a computer.
Yeah, and you were the help, and that's kind of how they looked at you, like you were just a piece of property they paid for. But now that you have the boundaries and you set the boundaries, you're able to do huge things and give back. You can say, yes, I can help you out here, or oh, you're doing like the homeless drive, or around Christmas you go out and you volunteer and give all the time and pictures, and then
I love being able to do those things.
We're buying
we have the maternity, the community baby shower with the Women's Resource Center and the Family Resource Center, and so we're doing like a free maternity picture for every person that comes, and as a family and as a business, we're actually donating we're sponsoring a mom, so we like have a diaper bag that we fill with needs for their baby. And it's beautiful that we can do those things because we have a community that supports this business, and
it all came from boundaries.
Yeah, it comes from respect and love instead of, I don't know, just wanting something, I don't know, cheap. Like when the cheaper it is, the more disrespect and I would come home crying, and I never felt like I was pleasing anybody. People were mad at me all the time. But yet I was making pennies, guys, because by the time the taxes and the licensing and all the stuff is paid, it's a lot. I feel like photography is one of those industries though that people think that you just are partying like a rock star and you're just making all the money that they see go out. They feel like I'm taking 100% home. And reality, after 16 years of doing this past year was the first year that I actually took home 20%. Yeah. 20%. Before that, like 2 years ago, it was like maybe 5%. Yeah, I could have worked at McDonald's and made more money.
And we never saw you.
You never saw me. So I missed all the games. I never made any of running soccer games. Like
if the sun's up, you were gone.
I was working.
You got to take pictures when the sun's up. So the family suffered.
Yeah.
That was a big thing to work through, right? So we had we've been 10 years, so like 8 years, 7 years of like struggle. Like, hey man, your parents are entrepreneurs. We are doing things. We're out. We're doing meetings. We're trying to do whatever it is. It was hard on the family, and then your boundaries. You wouldn't have boundaries with the family either. So then you would.
I was always editing,
doing everything, and it you would hurt the family with the boundaries just because you didn't have boundaries for yourself, and you couldn't give us who you were, right? So when we did get you, it was not the Amy that we want, right?
Yeah. We worked hard to change all of that, though. It's been good, but now that you've opened Athens Jiu Jitsu, how do you feel starting another small business in our family? How do you feel like that's been?
Well, like we've been doing, I've been either commission based or I haven't had a
hourly job.
Okay. Ever really. So it's always been feast or famine for us. So it's always, if I don't make money, then we don't have money, right? Like there's no, at least I get my hourly, paid. It's harder because I opened a gym, right? It's a jiu-jitsu gym. It's not going to make money, right? It's not, we didn't open a jiu-jitsu gym to make money or become rich. Like hopefully, it's breaking even-ish, real close. And it's only been over 3 years or 3 months, so not bad. But we did that to enhance the quality of our life. I get to do jiu-jitsu like 10 to 11 times a week. Our kids do it. You're doing a little bit. It's good for everybody, and that's what we really did. We opened it for more of a community and to enhance our life. And there's a fine line of walking there of enhancing your life or letting it kind of run your life or stressing your life. Like we don't need more stress. We don't need, so we did all these things to enhance our life and the people around us. So like I have a couple people that are coming in like, hey, my kids want to do it, but we can't afford it, blah, blah. Hey, don't worry about it, man. We're here to, like we're not going to break it even yet, but don't worry about it. We're going to be here anyway.
And I feel like the community that you guys have built at Athens Jiu Jitsu is like that.
Yeah.
There's an opportunity there for you to help serve our community. I feel like Jiu Jitsu, I think it's like confusing to some people who don't know really what it is. So tell people what Jiu Jitsu is.
So Jiu Jitsu is basically, it's grappling, right? So it is wrestling with submissions. So if you see UFC, all the things they do when they get to the ground, minus the punching and all that striking, that's jiu-jitsu typically. So arm bars, rear naked chokes, like all those things of that nature, or pretty much jiu-jitsu, the art of manipulating somebody else's body is that. And we do it, on mats and stuff in a mat room, and just have a good time. It's a very humbling experience, right? So like my coach is, what is he, like 150 pounds, and I'm 240. I'm a big dude, big strong dude, been doing this a long time, and he can still get in there and just humble you just because he's just crafting his art so well. So it's a very humbling thing. It's hard to meet a mean or negative person in jiu-jitsu because it's like you go in there daily and there's somebody that can just beat you up, and you got to get comfortable with the fact of being uncomfortable, right? So it enhances you to the fact of, I'm uncomfortable or things are uncomfortable here, and you start getting comfortable in that uncomfortable state, and that's when you really can see your limits, and it really shows you who you are. Like, hey man, this guy's laying on my face, but it's just uncomfortable. I'm okay, and then you can prevail from there. It just really shows you, man, like you're not made of glass. You're somebody, and you're special, and you can do so many cool things. You just have to believe in yourself. That's what jiu-jitsu does.
I will attest to the fact that the jiu-jitsu community is probably one of the most caring, good quality, humble people.
Yeah, we went to Costa Rica, didn't know anybody there except for a couple of people from jiu-jitsu on my side, and I left Amy with the group of a couple guys from jiu-jitsu and in Costa Rica so I could go pick up some more people, but they dropped what they were doing. They stopped everything they were doing, stopped like the party like thing they were doing just to hang out with Amy and make sure she was fine, and had somebody there to kind of protect her and make sure she was fine until I got back. They didn't even know you, but by the time I got back, they were like homies. We're all good friends, and hanging out in the airport afterwards, leaving and stuff. And
it's a nice little community though, and I'm glad that you brought that to Athens.
Yeah, me too.
One of the big questions I get from my clients will ask me, well, why is it not Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu?
Well, it is. It's Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, except for Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is more, it's just a older way to look at it. So the art itself just progresses, and there are certain things when the Brazilians started it that they didn't really practice, but now we kind of do. And at first, Brazilians kind of hated us because we took their art and started adding stuff to it. But I mean, that's just progression. That's just what you do. And then they noticed, hey, we're starting to lose because we're not progressing. And now they're kind of taking it back and progressing as well and implementing things to their game. It's just a ever changing game that of things. It's so much fun. Like leg locks. Like so a traditional, you didn't really mess with your legs, and that's 50% of your body. You're not manipulating or trying to attack. So you got somebody who's really good up here, but then you've got somebody who's okay down here, and they're gonna find 50% of your body, right? Mm-hmm. So they just hated us for that for a little bit. A couple other things that they didn't love us doing, but So
still, like the gym is still basically
it's Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu,
but yes.
Well, we call it now American Jiu-Jitsu as well, just because we've added so much to it, But I mean, you look at the tournaments and stuff like that. It only makes sense,
right?
To progress in that,
Yeah. Okay, so we're fairly healthy people. We actually met when we were both like bodybuilding, and we go through our fads and our ebbs and flows, and of course, like we're a seriously happy couple, so we love to eat and go out.
That's my favorite. And
have drinks.
Your love language is quality time.
My love language is quality time. And that quality time needs to be at a restaurant because I don't want to cook.
the ambiance. Yeah.
Least
So
favorite thing to
we'll
do.
go to the Village Pizza and just sit there and hang out and just do that for an hour. Not even have to be eating or doing anything. We're just hanging out with each other in the ambiance.
Yeah. So in turn, we gain some weight, lose some weight, like we go through things, but people are always like, how are you doing that? And you're still looking good. So I want to talk about maybe not fad diets. So currently right now, a big one is carnivore diet, which you've recently tried.
Yeah.
So tell people what a carnivore diet is. What did you like about it? What did you not like about it? How did you feel about it?
So in a nutshell, the carnivore diet is you eat only meat and aged cheese.
Can't be hard cheese, right? It can't be soft cheeses. Aged cheese is more like more of a hard cheese.
But some people don't do the cheese part at all. However, when you break down the macros, your body gets so like keto and stuff like that. There's always, with all these diets, there's always going to be like the keto fog or the carnivore sickness and things of that nature. And that's just because your body needs certain things for energy. And with carnivore, if you're only eating protein, no carbs, your body has no glycogen to break down and use for fuel. So you implement a little bit of cheese, and now you use that fat source from cheese as your energy. It started making me
keto. So keto's the same way, right? So
yeah,
exactly. Fat source.
Yeah. So that's why a lot of people don't think carnivore or don't agree with the cheese in carnivore, but the actual carnivore diet, you're allowed to have the hard cheese.
Right.
Keto, you have all fats.
Right.
You don't have hard cheese or aged cheese in carnivore. And that's just more for the energy. I started doing, but also I do Jiu Jitsu 2 times a day.
Yeah, you work out.
I work out, and I do all these things. So I was doing the carnivore diet, and I just started getting sick and feeling terrible. And then I was like, okay, cool, I need something. So I just added in electrolytes. So I just added salt packets pretty much. So LMNT packs.
Yeah.
So I added those LMNT packs. They're just salt packs pretty much. Make your water taste pretty good. I started drinking those, and all of it went away. I felt great, looked great. I mean, I was performing well. I was doing 4 hours of jiu-jitsu a day and working out and had all the energy in the world just from adding salt. So the only thing that you get that sickness from is you have a lack of something that your body needs for energy. And
right.
You just gotta implement it some way. And LMNT pack was fantastic.
I think that's when you felt better.
I started cutting a lot of fat whenever I did the carnivore diet. It wasn't hard for me eating meats. Pretty easy.
When you were on that, you kind of took a break. We went on a cruise at Christmas. Yeah. And so when we were on the cruise, at first you're trying your best to try to eat a lot more meat, but it's sparingly, it's hard. Yeah. And so you were some cruise food and whatever. I remember 2 days after, 2 days on the boat, you were like, oh my goodness, look at my abs.
Yeah.
Because all the bloat from the salt and water that you carry from that.
Yeah, I had abs when I walked on the ship. Then I was like, all right, cool, it's a cruise. Let's go ahead and eat and drink, right?
Right.
So we were eating and drinking, and then 2 days of drinking, I'm like, drinking's going to hold water. I was like, oh, I look terrible. And I woke up and I was like, I look great. I had a lot of abs. I had all the things going, right?
Yeah, you did.
And I was like, what is going on? I'm eating like crap. You do have certain rebound effects from after you break diet. But it was because I cut out the LMNT packet. So I was drinking 2 packets of LMNT a day, which is a lot of salt. Yeah. As soon as I cut all that sodium out, right, it just retains water and holds water. As soon as I cut all that out, man, everything came out. And I was like, oh, cool. This diet's working better than I thought it was. But I had to supplement so much salt because I was doing so much. Yeah. My body had to have it for fuel, right? Yeah. I was doing the diet for not just what I look like, but for performance. So.
Right. And right now, you're not really, really doing it.
No. I do about 90-20, but I don't know how effective it is to do
if it's not 100%.
If it's not 100%, right? So
you still look great.
Yeah, I look great. And that's the thing, I'm only doing carbs after hard trainings or right before hard trainings and stuff like that. But again, it's not carnivore if I'm eating carbs and stuff like that. But I can go have a hamburger and still have abs after I eat. That's
I'm a little
cool.
jealous because I just tried the pescatarian, which was. I did it for 2 weeks, guys. 2 weeks, I was like, I'm going to try to...
You were a vegetarian plus fish.
Yeah. And
it was great, man.
Not...
It wasn't near as expensive.
I lost 2 pounds in the first week and then gained it back because then I was feeling really depleted. So I was eating a lot more sugars, and then I was like wanting to eat a lot more like chickpeas.
Sugars are terrible for you.
Right.
In any aspect, sugars are terrible for you because we're not. Think about how when we were born and when the earth, what we used to do. There were no sugars around. You would
fruit
ever,
was, though.
but how often would you have fruit back in the day?
I don't know.
Not too often, right? So you have sparingly eat fruit, and so you have a very small amount of sugar in your diet back then.
I mean, I still ate a lot of vegetables on the last couple weeks while I was doing this.
Yeah,
like they were eating steak and I was eating eggplant.
It was great. It was fantastic. A lot cheaper on the
family. But I feel like the diet fad that I've done that has been like the best for me was Whole30.
Yeah, I like the Whole30 in general just because you're not eating processed, man-made, man-added chemicals and
no sugars. Like there's like no sugars. You can even use honey, no agave. Yeah. Like there was literally no way to sweeten things. Like, but I did love Whole30. Like I loved what I was eating. Given I did it in the summer months last year. And the farmer's market was open, so like I would just go to the farmer's market. Good. It was so good. Like there was these green tomatoes every single time from this one farmer, and I would fry them with like EVOO and some almond flour. I would like bread them with almond flour, and it was so good. I can't wait till the farmer's market opens back up.
Yeah, sugar's terrible for you in general.
Mm-hmm. Causes cancer.
It does cause cancer. That's what the parasites eat off of is the sugar. And so they're poisoning us with our diet. I mean, I know that's kind of like a kind of a crazy thing to say or whatever. A lot of people are starting to open their eyes. But.
I think people are starting to realize. Like I told my parents the other day, I'm like, you guys fed us things because you trusted the FDA, you trusted the government, you trusted the food industry was actually providing you something healthy and like good for you and your kids and so they would feed us all these things, and now we're realizing it was all poison, and we've been poisoned our whole lives, and which is hard transitioning that to our children. Yeah. Our son wants Takis. He's not getting Takis.
Yeah, sorry, buddy. It's you poison yourself on your own dye.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
and cereals and like in dyes, but it's in everything.
It's in everything, but they don't send this to other countries, right? So like the same exact brand and product you get in America. They add additives to it that poison you.
Carcinogenics.
They're not allowed to send that everywhere else. Like, so we went to, last time we went to Costa Rica, we ate everything. There was nothing we didn't eat, and we felt better. We had no.
I lost weight. Yeah, no inflammation.
There's no inflammation. Yeah, exactly. There's no inflammation, no indigestion, nothing at all. It was all just more pure. And the fact of the matter, when we come back home, we have one or two meals in the airport,
and you're bloated immediately.
And you feel terrible.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, your stomach hurts again. It's like, all this stuff is starting to come back. Like, oh no, acne's coming back. Everything.
Gut health. Yeah, it comes down to the gut health. And actually, after we went to Costa Rica and we were eating, their food, and it was so good, and I felt so good. That's when I came home and I was like, immediately started Whole30. I'm like, I'm going to eat the way that I was eating in Costa Rica, and it's Whole Foods. And I was like, Whole30 is the way to go. At least try it for 30 days. The hardest thing for me is to not have a drink for 30 days. I can do the Whole Foods and no sugars. I did really well with that.
I like to sit there and sip on a drink with you on lunch.
I agree.
We have one lunch date. That's what we do. We have like a lunch date on Fridays that we go get our quality time on, right? You got to make time for yourselves, right? And that's her thing. So we go and spend quality time together. We'll hang out at Village Pizza, hang out with all the bartenders. They're all real nice. It's like lunch. And then we'll have a drink. One drink and just like talk. So it's hard not to have that ambiance and like break that connection, but also at the same time it's probably healthier.
I think that's one of the biggest things that prevents people from doing things like diet alone. And I hate that they're called like diet. Like the way that we think about diets is we think that we're like keeping ourselves from something, but that's not necessarily
it's
true.
Negative connotation of the word, so you're already you're entering that as a negative already, right? Like, you're like, hey, I'm gonna clean up eating. No, I'm gonna start a diet. Ooh, well, a diet means you're gonna stop doing this,
and you're gonna fail. You feel like you're already gonna fail because it's called a diet. You feel like you're changing or preventing yourself from something, but I think it's just a way. A diet is literally like what you're eating. That's all it is. A diet literally means that, and so it's just what you're consuming. Yeah. And I feel like Whole30, people don't want to do it because it's 30 days, and that seems hard. Or 75 hard. Nobody wants to do it because then you start looking at your calendar and you're like, 75 days? Like you count it out and you're like, okay, well, there's this holiday coming and there's going to be this, and I don't want to do that. So nobody wants to do it. Whereas if you just take the initiative and just kind of like, even if you did fail at things like 75 hard, or if you did fail at Whole30, I feel like people feel like failing is the end, whereas failing is just part of life, right? But that doesn't mean you can't go right back to.
That's the thing with, like, I don't know if you've seen it, but like it says consistency. What people think it has like 6 circles, 7 circles, and they're all full. And it's like what really consistency really is like a little bit full one day, all the way full the next day, half full the other day. It's just the fact that you keep on doing it, right? So you can go to Whole30 and like, I had a drink at lunch. I'm not on Whole30 anymore. Or you're like, man, I had a drink at lunch. All right, back to this Whole30, right? It's in moderation, and it's made to enhance your life. If you're not enhancing your life, why are you doing it? So if you're struggling, you're like, hey man, me and my wife, we love having that drink at lunch. You know, we love just hanging out and whatever. If it's not enhancing your life, don't do it. If it's enhancing your health, okay, sure, we got to sacrifice. But also at the same time, you can allow yourself a drink. You can allow yourself a hamburger, a cheat meal, or whatever. You know, it doesn't mean you failed. It doesn't mean stop doing the thing you're trying to do to improve your health or your relationship or whatever it is. Just keep doing it. But hey, man, you're allowed to have happiness, and that's the hardest thing, right? Because you said when we first met, I was a bodybuilder. I boiled chicken. And I ate boiled chicken every 2 hours. Boiled chicken, green beans, rice, every 2 hours. I didn't season anything. I didn't put anything on there. I looked amazing, and I cut baby fat, and now I have like a pretty good base foundation for, you know, whatever I want to do. I can get big again, or I can be lean again, or whatever, fairly easy. Well, not fairly easy, but I can do it again just because I set that foundation in my body. But man, you don't want to do 2 years of eating every 2 hours. I'd wake up at night. I had alarms at night. I'd wake up at night to eat and go back to sleep. You don't want to do that. And that burned us out, right? So that, like, we were like going as far away from that as possible. So if you're doing that and staying on that road, sure, if you're doing bodybuilding or something like that, you have to do it. It's part of the process. You signed up for it. But if you're just trying to be a better person and healthy, man, don't think you fail. The failing's not healthy, right? Failing's healthy, but thinking of yourself as a failure is not healthy. Failing happens every day, and that's how you get better, is failing, right? Like I tell even my Jiu Jitsu kids, they're like, hey man, you either win or you learn. You don't really fail, man. Like there's always a reason. There's always something to learn. Hey man, I ate. I kind of feel like crap. Maybe I should eat a hamburger anymore on this diet. Maybe let's see if I can do it without the bun next time. You just kind of tweak and then learn yourself, but it's not the end all be all. Don't hate yourself or beat yourself up just because I cheated on my diet today. Oh, I ate a whole bag of candy. Cool. Well, tomorrow's another day. You know.
Yeah, going to extremes always burns. The human spirit out. Yeah. Like I feel like
that's fine. Like even if you're like that person, like, hey, I dieted for 2 weeks and then I just ate a whole bag of candy and cheated a whole day. Man, it doesn't mean the diet's over. Get back on the diet or taper back in, or there's nothing crazy. It hurts my heart to see people struggle with their weight or even leave this earth too soon because you don't eat right, or you don't understand how to eat, or you don't have anybody telling you, hey man, that's okay. A small setback is just that, a setback. Let's keep going. You know what I mean? We're going to keep moving forward and get past the progression you've already achieved. Just a step back doesn't mean we have to fail and never reach that progression.
Right. Yeah. Have you seen that like Alzheimer's is basically diagnosed? It's like type 4 diabetes.
Yeah.
So do you think like sugar consumption is like, and things like that?
Depends on
carb consumption or whatever like is causing.
It depends on who's listening to this, right?
Right.
My answer.
True.
So behind the paywall, we'll tell you this: they're out to get you.
That's how they get you.
Yeah, absolutely. Parasites have been linked to causing cancer, and the sugars
is what parasites feed on.
Yeah. The cravings you get are also coming from the parasites.
Right.
So
they're hungry.
They're hungry, and they excrete, make you want to eat those things that they want to eat, right? So they can keep growing. And when you're craving things, that's them dying. That's them trying to make you eat. Parasites trying to make you eat. That's them dying. That's like their last thing to do. So if you can beat the cravings, you can beat parasites, right? But yeah, absolutely. I've seen multiple doctors talk about the benefits of like parasitic cleanses and things of this nature. And I've seen doctors claim that hey man, I've reversed Alzheimer's, which is unheard of, by just cleaning the diet up.
Yeah. Gut health is so important though. I feel like the gut is a key to so many health problems.
I agree. And I think everybody should do a parasitic cleanse for 30 days.
I think so too. I really want to. We haven't done one yet.
I've done plenty.
Have you seen a natural one with like pumpkin seeds and whatever?
So I've been doing.
I wonder how effective that is.
So I would do those. I haven't done so we've seen the ones you're talking. We haven't
done yet. Like the ones I've been following. Like this girl on Instagram, she was doing it. And she was like eating only whole foods while she did it, and she was doing enemas though, guys. Sorry, I'm talking about enemas for a second. But like, because what my sister's currently doing one, but it takes. You don't realize like how much waste gets stored in your gut and in your intestines, and it takes a long time for things to really clean out and process out. So she's doing the subtle way without the enemas, and so it's a little bit more like it could be like 30-45 days before she has full effect. I like instant gratification.
Sure.
It's gonna be a process for me.
Yeah, I'm not telling you that. You can do parasitic cleanses by just like cleaning up the diet, and then like there's certain pills and like that contain not pharma pills, not Western medicine, but there's a lot of different
natural supplement kind of pills.
Yeah, a lot of different mushrooms that help with the parasitics and stuff like that.
We do love mushrooms. We do mushroom coffee.
Yeah, I do mushroom coffee.
I think that they're great. I also drink like greens every day. Yeah. I love my greens. My kids hate, if they're in the sink and they have to do dishes with them. I'll rinse better, sorry.
The kids do dishes once a month, so they can get over it. The boy's been on more dates than we have in the past month.
No, man, it's hard having a teenager.
And I've done dishes 100 more times than he has. What's happening?
I'm paying for their dates and we can't even go on one.
Right? I've taken out the trash every time it needs to be taken out. And then I ask him to vacuum one little portion. Like, hey, just vacuum just the kitchen. I'll do the rest of the house. And then he texts you, I'm going to vacuum the whole house.
I don't even know if I have time to get ready for my date.
That you're paying for. Buddy,
wow!
Shut up and get on the vacuum, boy. Kids, love them to death though.
Yeah,
love them to death.
Fantastic.
I love having a teenager. He's been such a blessing in our life, man.
He's
been a huge blessing in my life.
Yeah, he's the coolest teenager though.
Yeah,
I feel like it. Yeah,
he's been really easy for us. Our daughter,
he's not prepared us at all for the next one coming up.
She's a little Irish ball of fire,
when I was pregnant with her, I always called her a force to be reckoned with. Man, is she ever.
Yeah, and she wants things on her own terms, dude. She's something else.
Yeah.
She's adorable.
I love it.
She's sweet. She's doing really well in soccer, too, and I'm very proud of her.
Oh, man, I love her. I cried. Literally, she had the best play that she's ever had in her soccer career so far.
She's a goalie.
She's the keeper, and so the ball went past her, and she ran back, put her body on it, stopped it probably within what?
Dove on the ball. Yeah, she dove on the ball to stop it.
Like 5 inches from the line, saved us. It was so great. And I was like, that's my baby. And I cried. I love it. I love her playing soccer. She's very competitive at soccer too. It's fun. Yeah. It's fun to watch her be competitive.
It's fun to watch them do anything they love.
Yeah. All right, cool. Well, what else can we talk about? Or we feel like we're done? I prepared nothing for you, but I feel like we did a pretty good job. I mean, honestly, this is just everybody wants to know. People are nosy, and they just want to hear about our lives and see a little bit about us.
I mean, they could just come hang out.
I mean,
we like to hang out with people too. So if you guys want to hang out, we're at Village Pizza on Fridays.
All right, cool. Well, let's go over a couple social ways to follow us. So I am Miss Amy Kelley on Instagram, as well as @SlylyPhoto on Instagram. I'm going to give them your stuff. AJJ, Athens Jiu Jitsu. Also, if you want a real wild time, follow him on Instagram @ConspiraZeke.
I wasn't going to tell him that, but yeah, sure. If you guys,
I feel like there's like-minded people here that might really enjoy what you have to say.
I just don't want to scare anybody off, guys. I think the government's poisonous, though. So if you guys want to see why I think that, give me a follow.
Yeah. All right, guys. This has been Exposure Uncut. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, guys.